Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Wyatt Turk, and Greg from the Austin Dice Cats. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
I think I said that right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
totally.
You did not.
100%.
You ruined it.
I would say I made it better.
Yeah.
No.
So Wyatt and Greg joining us from the Dallas Open Soup Kitchen.
Yeah. Live from the airport hotel.
What time's room service get there?
They don't do it here, apparently.
What if you order it from the bathtub?
I don't think that's going to change anything.
We'll go lay in the bathtub and see.
We don't have a bathtub in this hotel room. It's a walk-in shower.
Sit on the shower and pretend it's your throne and you need to be served on your...
You got to let them know that
food.
you're in the shower, though, too. That's the only way it works. You're
Right.
like, I'm calling you from the shower.
Just come in. Just come. Doors open. Come in.
Well, we're still on like it's like a phone on a cord. So I mean, if Greg can make it stretch all the way to the shower.
Oh, wait, you don't have a shower phone in there? What kind of hobo-ass hotel is this?
I mean, yeah.
What if you got to use the phone when you're pooping?
We're in the slums, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck.
I mean, that's a true story. I legit did order room service to our room at LVO whilst taking a poop in the shower.
Shower phone,
best
huh?
word.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we obviously are not joined tonight by Mike Haspil, who's super fucking busy. But luckily, we have no shortage of 40K content tonight, so we will not be lacking on content, only sexiness.
Facts.
So I guess we could just go in with our joke. We could roll out to Wyatt's Cave of Wonders.
Yeah, sure. Would you rather be a world-renowned chef or a world-renowned driver?
So, just a chef in general, or we talking like a specific,
Like a world-renowned chef, like a celebrity famous chef,
like an entertainment chef, or like a Gordon Ramsay, or like an Anthony Bourdain.
I think you'd be Rob Baer, but a baller, but a renowned chef.
But I mean, they're all they do their own thing. Like they have.
So you're renowned. So is this first we need to know, is this marketable? Like, is this actionable? Am I going to be paid because of the skill level, like Gordon Ramsay level? Or?
I mean, if Gordon Ramsay was an amazing chef, but didn't do anything with that, that's kind of on him. So,
but you're saying I'm already renowned. So I've already cultivated some type of.
So like you wake up tomorrow, you are Kenny Boucher, world renowned, either or, and then it's up to you.
Is the genie's magic going to shift things I already do to be more chef based, like my live shows and stuff?
Again, that's up to you.
It's
just all of a sudden you wake up tomorrow in a world where Kenny Boucher is in fact a world renowned chef.
Like when I go and do my live stream tomorrow, are people going to be like, "Yo, Kenny, I find it so interesting that you're always streaming miniatures, but you're like the best chef in the world. It's crazy. What are you going to? Is it going to be like that?"
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how it's going to be. Right?
You have the skills to back it up too. Like you're not going to be like a world renowned F1 driver and then like not know how to gear shift.
So it can be any kind of driver, right?
Uber driver. Can you be a world renowned Uber driver?
World renowned crash test dummy.
I don't know if you want to be that one.
Driving seems harder because I'd have to leave my house, so I would just pick chef.
I would definitely do. I like driving. I don't know if you notice about me.
I didn't.
I like to drive. I would like to fly too. If I was the pilot and it was my plane, I probably would enjoy flying.
And like you built the plane and you went over the schematics.
I don't need to build the plane. That's just silly.
Signed off on the design?
Nah, just being a pilot in general, I think would be okay. But like when you're on a plane, you're like basically on a bus in the air. I don't like it.
No, I know. So do you really like driving or do you just really not like flying?
I'm both. Why not both? I think I'd be the driver thing because I really don't care about food. I just like.
If you were a world-renowned chef, you would probably be specializing in gluten-free cuisine, though.
But would I have? Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's a good niche for that. Like, there's a lot of people afflicted with the gluten.
Well, yeah, you like really spicy food because it's the only thing you could taste. So
that
could
too.
be one of your things.
Yeah.
Like, here's my cookbook: 101 recipes that include wasabi.
Oh, that's true. Got to put it on everything. Got to taste it. Even delicious steaks.
Yep.
I'll never forgive you.
That's how he eats his sushi too. He just makes like a soup out of wasabi and fucking soy sauce.
More on the pasty side.
It's
but
very
yeah,
pasty.
delicious.
I've seen other people do that, so it's like that's not a weird thing. But when somebody offers you a bite of their $400 steak, you don't put a dollop of fucking wasabi on it.
It was very small. It was very small. It was like a pea-size piece of wasabi.
Yeah, to a bite that was not much smaller than that.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Greg, what would you be?
Definitely a chef. I hate driving, and I love Gordon Ramsay and Guy Fieri, so got to emulate those two badasses.
Have you guys ever watched Gordon Ramsay's TikTok videos?
No.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It is the best. Like, he's like, people will be like duetting and like trying to like get his approval. They're like, all right, Gordon Ramsay, duet this one. I'm gonna show you to make the sickest steak. You know, like, you're a layman, so you're watching this and you're like, that is a sick steak. Gordon Ramsay in the duet, however, will now convince you how trash that dude is as a human and as a cook at making steaks.
Yeah, Greg is like he's my TikTok sommelier. So I don't peruse TikTok. I only watch what he shares, and he only shares the best.
Do you curate like a bunch of Instagram stories off of TikTok, Greg?
No. I just find some funny TikToks and share them on Facebook.
What you need to do is you just need to like export them as stories on your Instagram page. And so basically you can just transform your Instagram stories into like the hypest like look in TikTok today from Greg's For You page. Like, I've seen people do that where like basically their stories are just like 30 stories in a row. And it's just like, hey, you don't even need to go on TikTok today. I already did it for you. My For You page. And like, I just like scroll through these people's stories like it's like a television station. If you can do that for me, I would watch it.
I'll get my best people on it.
Well, so 2 chefs and a fucking driver.
Yeah.
Solid picks.
So we can now we can get a catering business going.
I think so.
Yeah. Very, very high speed food delivery service.
I appreciate the nice softball would you rather today. Just real chill. Just I don't have to have an existential crisis later tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's for next week.
Sometimes the listeners are like, they're like, dude, that one was bad. How do you choose which kid's yours? Like, I was crying and I was like, wow, I didn't think of it like that.
I'm equally like, I'm sorry, but also like, fuck yeah. I feel equally bad and good about that.
That's a good one.
True.
So let's do it. Let's do a little tabletop marketplace, Rob. So then,
well, I have a tabletop marketplace / Spiky Bits editorial because I have a few.
Don't you dare put your opinion in on anything.
Never. No, I would never. I just like cool shit and I just want to talk about it.
So it's going to be like Hot Seat with Rob Baer.
Talk about all the cool shit. Nah, it's fine. So obviously another week goes by. We don't have any GW releases, but we know that they are going to have some pre-orders on May 8th. It looks like the Necromunda Gang Wars, or no, Hive Wars, whatever, starter set. No word on price, but the last Necromunda starter set was $125, and that was in 2018, I think. I don't know. I could be off a year or two. Time has no meaning anymore there. So look for that. Also, we know that the AdMech is probably coming out next or the same weekish because we've seen pretty much the product lineup already. We broke down We broke down what's coming in the Combat Patrol box to check out the value on it. And Honestly, I mean, it's basically their old start collecting with a Dune Crawler, a squad of Scutari, and a Tech Priest Engineer, plus a box of the Cataphrons, not the Robot Walker dudes. Those are slightly sound the same. I always forget, but the dudes with the tracks. So it's the same thing as the $95 box was when they had to start collecting. That wasn't the one with the transport. Now just with an extra box in it, and that, you know, retail is $140. So that box of Cataphrons is $58. So the total MSRP on that box is going to be $210. So you've got roughly a $70 savings on it. Whereas before it was $95 and it was roughly $140. So, you know, you're paying more, but you're getting more value, which is kind of like the aim of the whole start collecting, besides having a playable force out of the box, which I understand. But again, you know, it's just GW kind of pushing the pricing envelope a bit, unfortunately. But it is what it is there. So that will be out, of course, as well. Now, we saw some previews for a new sister standard bearer that's people don't really like the face. I think the best comment I heard was, at least she comes with a helmeted option. And I'm like, yeah.
How many times am I going to have to hear the internet whine about a lady's face on a fucking model not being hot enough?
Well, I mean, it's not like people pan kind of the Uriel Ventress model too. And it was kind of a bad sculpt, but
Kenny, if my Sisters of Battle don't look like fuckable anime waifus, then why am I even collecting them?
Oh, you know, I never really thought of it from that perspective, like the perspective of a 40K incel. But now that I see it from your perspective, I can understand it.
Refreshing insight there. So we saw that. Also, there's a new Sylvaneth model coming out as well. Kind of like their version of a Pied Piper, sort of. Apparently, it's going to interact with
that
terrain
model looks
somehow.
fucking sick. That new like Wood Elf dude.
Yeah,
that
Piper.
That's a really cool composition of a model, and I want one.
It's very interesting. As a Sylvaneth player myself, I like it. I haven't played Sylvaneth in a hot minute because their whole book interacts around having forests on the board in their interactions with their forests that you basically have to pay $240 for to put into your army, that you basically get boned on actually putting out at deployment. They're basically a bottom tier list right now. Because
I just want that one model because it looks.
The models look great, sure, but like, I have a feel badsies for my.
Are we doing your editorial right now?
No, I just want to say I think it's a great looking model, but me as a Sylvaneth player, dope ass Sylvaneth.
I forgot that you played Sylvaneth. Yeah.
Hobbied on them when they got their update, got all my trees together, got all my stuff together, got all my all the models I needed, everything like that. Great, super hype. And then when I go to put the trees down, I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling me that you can put your terrain piece out and you can box me out. And when we set up the board, you can box me out. I need these trees, man. This is how my whole army works, dog. And they're like, nah, you're just not getting trees. And I'm like,
you got to be OP for like a couple of weeks. You never got to be OP.
Not even OP,
you
dog.
You didn't finish your army in time, because just like it always works. But
I hope this guy does something, because they do need to be addressed. You do need some wiggle room to put out your trees that you paid $240 for. And for me, I'm just not motivated to play them. I want to play OS. I'm just not motivated to play that, unfortunately. The models look great, super dope.
AOS has the sickest models. Like,
wait, Rob. You literally have a West Virginia meth shack full of 3D printers. Why don't you just make trees?
Well, this is before.
Yeah, this is
you already spent the money. You can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
and also, this is when the trees were OP and everyone went out and bought a shitload of trees. So, like, that's why he has so many trees.
I don't know if they were OP.
They were fucking OP. I was getting commission requests left and fucking right to just paint the GW Forest set.
Well, that's because you needed them to play. You need them to play.
You needed that many to play?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize it was mandatory.
It's an issue. It's a legitimate issue. They pigeonholed you into playing with these damn trees that you can't even fit on a table now, because if your opponent has half a brain, he's going to box you out. No, yeah, I can play with my buds and it's all cool, and they're not going to do that to me. But
I'm always going to box you out, dog.
Yeah, you are. It's just a deflation. You know, it's like I can put hobby energy into this, or I can put some hobby energy into something I'm passionate about right now. And I'm not passionate about my Sylvaneth, unfortunately. So
Harvey Ballstein, I know. He's like, they were OP when it dropped. Like, I know.
I don't think so. They weren't winning tournaments, and I don't know, whatever.
They had got nerfed super fast.
Also, Creature Caster miniatures along with Judgment.
Judgment Kickstarter.
The Judgment Kickstarter that's super funded right now at this point.
Yeah,
so they had
what was it at, like 300 now?
I don't even know right now. I mean, first day it was like 250 or something. So I actually got to play the game with.
I heard about that.
With Peter, the head owner of Creature Caster. I don't know. And it's a fun game. It's very interesting, and I think a lot of people are going to like this game. And the fact that they have so many different levels, like you can get the 2D cutouts, you can get the 3D minis.
Bro, how sick are the fucking game made department on that fucking Kickstarter?
They got it covered. Like it's really well thought out.
The token department,
they did a super good job of like gathering information during the like the first iteration of the game. That was doing really well for a niche game like that. And like making this like version 2.0, which
it looks good. Like he gave me the pitch the other day on the phone, trying to talk me into playing it. And I was like, I don't play games, but I want to hear about the game mechanics. And I do like the game mechanics a lot as an arena champion style game. And I like the God element instead of like the race element.
Right.
Like, I think that's an interesting take on it. So like the way you can slot in. So pretty interesting stuff. The models are fucking pretty cool.
Amazing.
All over the place. Anything you can think of, So we're working a promo like later for the backer kit part of the. So like you're handling the right now, and I'm going to be after the Kickstarter closes, and then there are people want their last chance to go to the
to pick it up.
So he was like we think if I can get you to pay like a warband. And I was like, all right, that's a lot. What's the smallest warband? He's like 3 to 5. I was like 3. Got it, 3. And he was like, okay, tell me what you want. Like, and I can see if I can make you a list, like something that would, could work. And I was like, all barbarians all the time. So that works. He's like, interesting. I was like, yeah. And so I was like, I want that one dwarf for sure. That one dwarf. The fucking.
Yeah, dwarf looks good.
I was like, I don't like the Mohawk. He's like, neither do I. It's detachable. I was like, thank God. He's like, yeah, they fought me on it, but like it's it glues on, so he's actually bald too with a sick beard. So like I was like, yeah, that's my dude. And I was like, hold on, what's that? Another dwarf in a fucking walking cannon, fucking mech thing. I was like, yeah, he's on my squad, and we're gonna just tie this all together with one more badass. What's that? And he's like, that's like a Minotaur guy with a fucking big ass axe. I was like, yep. Do they all worship the same god? He's like, yep. It's like that. So we're going to be doing all barbarian fucking hero team all day, every day. My man, I see in chat, they know Brock,
they know
Barnassus, and Thorgor. Those are my 3 dudes. Yeah. Most Magic in chat knows.
Yeah, those models are super sick. I remember after they launched, it was at Adepticon, what was it, 2018? I came back with a bunch of their models, painted them on the stream.
Oh yeah, no I remember that. Like
their Minotaurs are so sick. Like they're one of the best aspects of their model line. They're really cool.
It looks like, so basically what Rob was saying is go and check that fucking Kickstarter out, because you don't want to miss on those deals. Those bundles are fucking popping, bro. Like just the tokens. I couldn't believe how many fucking tokens you get in those boxes. It's crazy. Fucking snag it up. Oh, here we go. I knew Rob had something for the viewers at home who are watching, not just listening.
Oh, he ready. I see his face right now. He ready.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is the guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is the guy.
No, that's like
that's not the
like
axe. No, that's the caster. Do I have the axe? I don't think I have him. I think I just have the base set.
The one I painted was the first edition in 54 mil of that Minotaur Shaman guy.
Oh, that's my dude right there.
Yeah, there's the dwarf with no mohawk attached. He's pretty dope. I like this. I like the necromancer's little skellies. They're like doing superhero poses and crazy shit, like little minions doing things. I don't know if you can see them, but like this one's really doing a superhero pose.
The necromancer looks like Skeletor.
Yeah, he's super dope. But like to have all this 3-dimensional terrain, like and it's all hex based. It's super incredible sculpts. Like even this,
I didn't even know they were adding all that terrain. That's sick.
It's totally immersive. That's why the tokens. That's why the terrain. Like
yeah.
You guys want to talk about the game itself for anybody who's never heard of this? Because they have a really interesting game.
Like the actual mechanics of playing it.
Yeah, like the elevator pitch.
I mean, it's basically like Magic the Gathering / a MOBA / Dota.
Yeah, so it's a champion based brawler game with MOBA aspect.
There you go. There's spawning mobs. There's the random mobs that you can farm for like stuff.
Yeah, there's resource management. There's like
you get fate points. You can immediately shop and upgrade your duders when you kill something or get enough points.
Yeah, the God faith system is like apparently the major tweak.
The mat is super dope and very cool looking. Although I think they've already refined the map. I think I have a prototype, but it's all hex based. So it's easily competitive because it's hex based, and we've talked about that a million times.
And it can play 2D or 3D with the tokens or the map.
I think this is the fog that goes in the middle of this particular piece right here. So there's like fog in the middle, so you can't just like straight shoot through stuff. And if you're in it, you get like cover. So it's like kind of like you just can't like run up on people. I mean, you can run up on people, but it's not.
You got to run up on people.
Yeah, you got to.
That's what you do with axes.
But yeah, now it's the miniatures. The quality is super insane. Like it's going to do really well, and this is something that I can't wait to see people playing in stores. On a competitive like OP kind of scene. Because I think it's definitely going to go that way. Hopefully. What else do we have to talk about tonight? So, Shapeways has gone or is going in the process of going public through a reverse merger. So,
you said perverse merger?
Yes, perverse
I feel like that's
merger.
leading. Should we not buy shares?
Dildos?
Shares of dildos. Yep.
Well, I mean,
Voter
perverse.
bills.
I'm like, are they 3D printing dildos now?
I mean, they might be. I don't know. I don't look on that portion of the site. So yeah, if you want to actually buy shares of them in the near future, you might actually be able to. I don't know what that's going to do for the company.
Your tone is making me very nervous about buying shares. What is the information?
Well, I mean, that's just it. I mean, if you read into it, it looks like a private equity firm is kind of like giving them a blank check and they're going kind of public. I'm not like super into finance, so I can't tell you what all that means. I know in the past, I think they're subsidized by the Dutch government, if I recall correctly. So I don't know whether, COVID, they're just cutting support for different companies or something like that. I don't know the whole thing behind it. I just know that, Hero Forge uses Shapeways. A lot of other bit sellers use Shapeways. Will that mean there's price increases on the way? I don't know. I just know that there's going to be a lot of talk, and there's going to be a lot of things going on in the Shapeways scene going into the future.
So in the chat, I was like, what does Shapeways need money for? They charge $10 to $25 shipping for a little $3,000 backpack.
Do they? Huh. Man, that seems expensive.
I haven't physically bought anything from Shapeways in a long time.
There were a print to order website with way better pricing.
Well,
what do they even make their shit out of? It's not the same stuff you guys like.
It's SLA printing, but it's a powder.
That's right.
Which is why they don't need the support struts that most 3D printers use, because it's kind of like self-supporting during in like the bed of the powder stuff. That makes sense. That's what I was like, why does it look different? It makes sense. Or why does the support structure so different? That makes sense. You don't remember when the CEO of Shapeways was in our hotel room at Adepticon explaining all this?
I don't remember that.
That was in 2017.
I mean, we've had a lot of interactions with people at Shapeways. It's just dope.
Oh yeah, we've definitely interacted.
I know there's been some interactions.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
a few times, but
More than once.
I don't remember the CEO being there.
I mean, it may have been like the head of global marketing or something, because he was from Global HQ, Netherlands.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Remember?
Yes,
I don't remember this conversation.
we were hammered. No, I played board games with that dude later on. I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, so lots of things happening soon through Shapeways. So it's interesting to keep an eye on the big 3D printer in space, because that's where a lot of this stuff is headed. So I always like to look at it. On the Twitch side of things, I don't know if you guys saw, but a lot of bot accounts got banned. So a lot of people's view counts and followers went down. Some people aren't having as much interaction in their streams anymore, so hopefully they can.
I did not know that, but I'm tickled by that news.
Yes, indeed. So, in their statement, they were basically like, it allows, creators that are doing things right to have that actually building up the interactions and the community to, continue to benefit from that instead of buying likes and buying bots and milking people basically for
What a stupid business model. Like,
yeah.
I mean, genius for the people who are farming fucking fake accounts and selling them to idiots. Fucking, like,
I mean,
what are you getting from this?
I respect the hustle, but everybody wants to be a millionaire.
Like, it's like, I mean, the most you can do with that is put in your resume, like, yo, look at my sustained follower account. This is why you should go with me for a sponsorship. And then when well, show me the analytics page, and then it's like,
Yeah, they have no API on it.
it's like just garbage. It's like, I don't understand this.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It is what it is. Everybody, there's very little barrier to entry to things, whether it's on the video game side of Twitch, the chat side of Twitch, or even the miniature painting side of Twitch. Anybody can just get a webcam and start going. Everybody wants to build their following. Everybody wants to be, involved and part of something bigger. And a lot of times, we forget to do things the right way and build up,
Oh, I never forget. I choose. Sometimes
bringing
the bad way, the good way.
Bringing value in everything you do is the right way to do things and the sustainable way to do things. So, but people forget, and it is what it is.
I do some unsustainable, shady things in my private time.
I could see that. I
Bath
sell a
time.
few. I've been known to do a few advertisements for boner pills on this crappy website I run from time to time. And last but not least, the last product, and this other thing I can't read on my sheet here, is the brush vault from Monument Hobbies. We talked about it in the pregame. I'm really excited by this product. I didn't think it was going to be. Jason sent me another thing that I guess he's going to buy me some booze and you tell me I did a good job. But I really, he sends me stuff and I don't know how. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll take a look. And then every now and then I'm just like, this is amazing. Why haven't I had this for like 10 years?
No, you just suck his dig on everything he makes.
That's not true.
Scraper.
I like the scraper.
Yeah. Exactblade.
It's curved. You can get over curved surfaces.
Exactblade.
Can you get over curved surfaces?
Yes.
No, you can't.
I can. I assure you.
I assure you.
My seam scrapers is sitting there on the floor. I'm looking at it right now.
That thing is that thing does not work for like backpacks and like barely for shoulder pads. It's great for bigger, chunkier stuff, but to have this little scalpel of a seam scraper is amazing.
I'm being ridiculous. It's a tool that has a very specific use and when applied in that way. And you know what I actually find it good for? 3D printed models.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's what to me, that's what the marketing pitch should be. It should be like, yo, we're living in a 3D printed model world. You know what's hard to get off of certain models is the little nubs.
Yep.
That get left behind by supports. Like, now obviously scraping with your X-Acto works 99% of the time, but sometimes based on like a flat surface, like it's exact opposite almost what you said. Where you're like, oh, it's not good for flat surfaces. Actually, I just did 30 shields that you printed for me. They're a flat surface. And So on the backs, where those supports hit, you can only kind of really get the X-Acto blade to do what it's supposed to do on the outside fringes. But like on that flat inner curve where there's like a knob and a knob and a knob that, now there's not always a knob, right? Like depending on how I got it off the sprout. When you see them, there's literally nothing I can do to pop those support knobs off. I'm like, I have no way to, like, I have to like dig into it with my X-Acto blade. I finally was like, okay, Rob, I'm going to fucking use this seam scraper. And it's curved. And my little shield is semi-curved. Clink, clink, clink. I was like, okay, Rob, fine. You win this one. Like, you're right. So I think the seam scraper in a 3D printed world is an invaluable tool.
All right. So
I'll give you that.
The people at home cannot see what I'm about to show you, but I'm going to describe it. This is Games Workshop's brush case. They gave these away with every order over like, I don't know, $100 like at Christmas time.
It's a $100 brush case, yeah.
It's a $100 brush. It's got the Aquila on it. If Haspil will be knocking on the door right now if you saw this. Yeah, it's basically like no brainer. So you see all these brushes in here. There's nothing holding them. Like you literally close this and they mash all their bristles. So like I had to leave the little protective plastic pieces around the bristles on it because otherwise they get jacked up. This is GW solution to a brush case for miniature paintbrushes, right? So it's not an art supply store thing. It fits our brushes, which is why I use it, right? But then you get this one from Monument, and it's amazing. It's like a hard case, semi-canvas covering, full zipper. You open it up, and I adjusted my
Let's see if he takes advice from the last segment. Let's see how he describes this part.
It looks like a black void in here. So there's little foam inserts in here that you can push the brushes into at the top. There's little foam holes at the bottom that they basically mount.
Describe it to somebody who's not watching you.
I just did.
Bro, there's something that exists in the world that everyone's seen that looks just like that.
Oh, the pool cue
like a pool cue holder, like at a bar.
But instead of wood, it's basically foam, and it fits in a hard case.
It grips the center of the shaft, and it lets the tip sit firmly. I'm trying to come up with something that's like dick.
I'm not a shaft and typologist.
It firmly grasps the shaft while also having the base to sit to sit firmly into.
Yep. So there it is. So $20 Monument Hobbies. Buy it now. I think it's
only $20. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that cheap.
I think it's pretty good. I mean, if you next time you order, make sure you scoop it up.
$20. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna stop joking on this thing. $20. Fuck.
They're really good value.
I don't think it's bad. I want to talk a little bit on the editorial side of things, like on a more serious note. We ran an editorial article about a really great group over on Facebook that I'm actually part of. I've been part of for a while. I don't super participate, but I keep an eye on things, in case I just have something random that somebody's looking for and can help somebody out. And it's called the 40K and Wargamers Trip Loot Sharing Group, right? So what the aim of the group is like, say you have an exclusive in your area, the States, somebody in the UK wants it, you just happen to be there and pick it up. You sell it to them for retail plus shipping.
I feel like that group needs a way better name. And it's called Let's Make a Deal.
Sure.
What you just described is I have a thing that is exclusive in the US. You are in the UK and you want that thing. Let's make a deal.
But
you need to market that better.
But the whole point of it is for people to get to stuff and not have to spend crazy eBay prices. Okay. That's why it's good, because the rampant scalping and the rampant, shortages out there have really kind of effed over a lot of people. So I wanted to kind of have a feel good piece, like, hey, there's people out here doing stuff. Check it out. If you're looking for something, or if you can help, here it is right here. And then they vet people, there's all sorts of rules. And it's actually very, the amount of posts and the amount of work that goes.
That was going to be my next question. I was like, what keeps this from being just like eBay in the end?
You got to go over and read through all the stuff. Like the admins are on it, like they're on it, and it's very well policed, which you have to police your communities. We do it on Facebook, we do it on site, or else the shit gets out of control, obviously. So,
oh yeah.
That being said, we did a post on it. We're like, hey, go check out this group. good things are happening here. And the very first comment we get, and I'm just gonna read it verbatim because it really
really made your day, right?
Oh yeah, super made my day. Me and everybody out there, and it's whatever. Like I don't take any of this stuff personally anymore, but I obviously had to respond to it. So the they did delete their comment. Well, I think it was something of the fact.
Pull it out of your folder. You didn't screenshot it and put it in the folder?
Oh, I'm sure I have it somewhere, but I just don't have access to it right now. It was basically like, hey, I'm part of this group, and we don't want Spiky Bits readers in there, and the group's going to go private because of this, because of you, like poo Spiky Bits. And
my God.
My reply to him, and I'm just going to read this verbatim because I have it. I was like, with respect, it already is a private group. You can't just join it. You have to, go through the thing to get into.
So right at the gate. So that's what you led with. You led with first off, like, you're an idiot. Continue.
No, I was like, with respect, it already is a private group.
With all due respect, I didn't realize you had your balls removed with experimental surgery.
I like how you do the dramatic reading of the words I'm saying, because that's what I want to say. But
I know I'm your anger. What's the Key and Peele sketch?
Yeah, the Key and Peele sketch. the president, was it President Obama?
Obama's anger. Whatever guy. Like, it's
so good. Furthermore, it seems that you read Spiky Bits, so I'm not sure what that even means, to be honest.
So you're one of the idiots that you just said are reading this article right now because you have clearly read it and then posted. Got it. You're fucking an idiot twice now. Continue, sir.
Right. And I was like, also, the readers of Spiky Bits that you seem to hold in not such high regard, I feel are some of the most educated hobby consumers out there. Which is a low-key compliment back to you, even though you called yourself an idiot twice. I just said you were smart, dog. Anger translation. We strive to bring the freshest news to everyone by giving a voice to brands and communities that are relevant while making the hobby stronger overall. Your comments to me are tone deaf, ignorant, and off-putting, not only to myself, who has made this my career for the last 12 years, but also to my staff and our readers. That's what I said back to him, and whatever. And then there was a couple of comments and people were like, oh, this is the feel good post I needed. I think somebody might be in the stream right now, or it was one of those. And then the admins from that group actually got in there and they're like, yeah, we don't know, this guy doesn't speak for us. So they were kind of like, you're stupid to that guy too. So God. I think overall it was noticed by the admins, which was nice. And, they kind of came over and they're like, that's not really the case. But what I found even more puzzling was that post made it to a major forum, a major 40K forum, where there was a whole bunch of people talking about it. This one guy was like, and actually the admin is big over on this forum. And he was like, hey, we know there are many from the movement out there. So shameless plug who, joined this group, to basically help out there. And then they linked our post. And then, of course, the echo chamber started. They're like, I would click that if it wasn't Spiky Bits, to be honest. This site is of dubious quality, in my opinion. And personally, I don't think it deserves the clicks it gets. Frankly, I find both the scalper and anti-scalper sides to be overdoing it. And then somebody was like, I actually like that group. I'm a member, it's all good. And it was about 50-50 polarizing, as you would expect. But here's the thing, people were like, oh, Spiky Bits is the worst. Spiky Bits, I don't go there. Spiky Bits, this and that. And look, I appreciate everybody's opinion. But at the end of the day, whatever people have to say about Spiky Bits, they're just like, oh, it's the worst. Why is it the worst? Please show me why it's the worst. I haven't seen one iota of proof of any of these things we've been accused of anywhere.
You once put out a post on the internet that had the word dick 50,000 times.
That was you. And
you let me do it, so there you go.
We fixed that. So I think at the end of the day, if you're part of these forums and these groups on the internet and you do read the site, I think when people say these things about the site, they're doing it from a place of, I think in a lot of cases, jealousy. And I think a lot of cases, maybe they just have this opinion that, hey, I could do this dude's job better. And that may be the case. And I'm not saying they could or they couldn't. But the things that we're accused of doing, just simply, we haven't done. I put out a bounty 2 years ago. I was like, yo, if somebody can show me where this supposed stolen content is, I'm going to give you a brand new Sisters Battle Army box. All you got to do is show it to me. Like, please point on the site where this stolen content that we steal all these things. And I got to be honest, like, my bar for quality of my writers and my employees is very high. Like, I straight up edit every post that goes out. Sometimes I mess up. Sometimes I'm half asleep. And, I have to make a quick correction because something's inaccurate. But overall, we source everything. We don't say anything that isn't pointed to somewhere else.
You mean you don't like have a squad of like, cat burglars that break into people's houses and steal Polaroids of their armies and then take them back to your beats lab and then scan them up onto the interwebs?
No, that would be when we're actually paid to be guests at events and cover the events and promote for those events and take pictures of the armies that are out on display.
Yeah, it's not like you take people's money in good faith to do them a service and then don't do that service and then take their money, which is literal theft. How about that?
No.
I don't think people understand how stealing works.
So, at the end of the day, I get everybody can have an opinion, but it's just in real time to see such a polarizing thing when it was nothing more than a feel good post.
It's just such a fucking, like, it's damaging. Like, you put out a post that actually promotes a good thing in the fucking community, and like somebody who doesn't like your face, doesn't like your success, doesn't like your website's ads, doesn't like whatever, is just going to be like potentially destructive to the own community, the community that you're helping boost up with massive exposure. It's like, it doesn't make sense. So guys,
not to mention the people that like reach out to Rob and they're like, hey, can you help my business? Can you help my product? Can you run a story on this? And then like Rob does them a service of helping them out and providing that content and getting the word out on a cool hobby product or a new game or a new model or whatever. And then that way everybody wins. But no, the website has ads. So fuck you. Like, all websites on the internet have ads. Be a fucking adult. Turn on ad blocker. Like, all titles are clickbait on the internet because that's how the internet works. That's how web pages work. Like, saying that Spiky Bits is bad because it's clickbait is fucking hypocrisy.
I mean, when I go to Spiky Bits, I just click on all the ads. Like, I try to see how many browsers I can open and how many fucking tabs I can open before my computer crashes every time I go.
That would be interesting to see in real time. Yeah, so, if you see something out there and, you feel like it's not correct and it's worth your time, I definitely appreciate the good comments on those forum posts and obviously the good comments on our site posts. And I definitely appreciate the admins coming over to talk as well. So thanks to everybody there, but it was an adventure the other morning for sure. And I didn't see it coming. I was like, no, this is going to be fine. And, we put out TJ's statement. It was an exclusive. I spent a lot of time on that post. I helped him edit his statement. And to see a lot of the folks on the YouTube literally show the site, show the statement, scroll through the site, not even mention that it was Spiky Bits, not even mention a link to the site.
Make sure they crop out the logo.
Theft to me.
It's not. You're allowed to.
Content theft.
You're allowed to do that. See, that's why Rob doesn't get mad because that's not stealing. That's if you're making your own content that is far enough away from the original source, you're allowed to cite the source. So like, that's not stealing. They're allowed to do that.
So it's just to see it in real time. I mean, I super appreciate everybody that reads the site. So thank you guys so much. It's.
They might not be allowed to do that without saying, at least in the description box, the source material, though.
They can use some of it without having to say.
There's a percentage. There's an amount of newness that has to be curated from the original for it to meet those, and they do enough.
Quantifying a scroll on the website in a video into what is.
Well, if the guy never stops talking about his opinion while he's scrolling through, then he's created a new.
That's probably an issue, and people have done that in the past.
Well, that's what makes it like derivative. That's what like.
Right.
So that's
but again, I'm not worried about it because the people that know are going to see it and be like, "Oh, spiky bits," and the people that don't know, eventually they'll see it somewhere else, and it's all good. So I'm totally not worried about it. I just wanted to say I appreciate the folks that read the article. I hope it helps some people out, get the minis they need, or potentially help other people get the minis they need. And, and I appreciate the people that had good things to say about that as well. Because that was nice to see.
That was an emotional roller coaster. I didn't expect it to be. I thought it was just be a classic, like Rob's stupid looking.
Yeah.
Hope he dies. Blah blah blah.
That was a spicy editorial, Rob.
It was a roller coaster.
It was.
Sorry, I wasn't the normal
Larry
boner
King
pills.
Memorial News Desk that you report from would be proud.
Yeah.
Thanks for kicking ass, Rob. I know you can be out there doing anything you want, building airplanes, even flying them. World-renowned chefing, driver.
You could shed your human
chef
skin,
driver.
go out into the woods, hunt some deer. But you're here doing this for us. Thank you.
No doubt. So let's pivot. Kick it on over to Wyatt. Wyatt, let everyone know where you guys are and why that's important.
Oh, I'm in my hotel room at the Dallas Open doing the Hobo Cast. If you guys haven't figured it out yet. And I'm here with my buddy Greg.
Dice Cats.
Greg.
Dice cats forever.
We just made a new team. It's the Austin Dice Bats, but Rob likes cats, and Greg's giving me a hard time about it.
That's fair.
So yeah, we're here. We got in today, and we were surveying the hall. They have a ton of tables. It's a 256 person event, and all sorts of stuff. Like the composition of what people are playing here is super wacky, and even some stuff you might be surprised by. So there's definitely an article there for you, Rob.
I like that.
The tables look great. The terrain is good. We talked about that last week after they were showing off the player packet, and being here in person and seeing the terrain, how it's set up on the tables, all that stuff. So I got to give a shout out to our boy Nate Goodfellow, who's the head TO, the head honcho, the Grand Poobah here at the Dallas GT. And I recently learned from the head event coordinator over at Frontline that Nate is going to be the head TO for the Lone Star Open, which is also going to be here in Dallas in a couple months. And so I wanted to bring Greg in because Greg's one of our Central Texas like competitive players who's been doing really well, and his army might surprise you.
It was a great title.
Thank you for that introduction, Wyatt. It's fantastic. I've been playing Imperial Fists for the majority of 8th and 9th edition. I've just been sniping up a lot of little RTTs and even getting top 10, top 5 in a few of our Central Texas GTs. So this will be my first major GT I've ever been to. So I'm going to try my luck here.
And talk a little bit about what you're running, because like the general consensus right now is that Imperial Fists are trash and they can't win games, and yet you constantly are crushing it out there. So like, what's your comp look like?
They are garbage. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not.
All right. I was trying to set you up a little bit.
No. So I'm running a ton of multi-meltas in my list. The original list had about 51 multi-melta shots a turn. Took it down a little bit for the GT to try to get some anti-horde in there, but running 2 captains, a Phobos captain and a captain on bike, 3 squads of infiltrators. The surprising thing that I think people are going to think is a little wacky is I'm running 5 assault centurions, and the general consensus on those is they're just the hottest garbage for Space Marines. 9 attack bikes and 2 multi-melted Devastator squads in the drop pod. And it puts out a lot of firepower per turn. And the good part about it having 51 multi-melta shots a turn is that's kind of my anti-horde. I'm killing 30 plus models with multi-melta a turn and then having some to spare for the bigger stuff.
I like that. I like that. Our friend Alan, who's also a Space Marine fuckboy, He's always like, "Why do you guys need so many?"
What army are you painting right now?
How many what?
What are you painting right now? What army? What faction?
Blood Angels.
Oh, so that includes yourself, right?
Yeah, I said he's also a Space Marine fuckboy.
Oh, okay, all right. Just gotta include the yourself in that too.
Also, so that word I think infers enough.
I mean, I'm gonna need you to say it.
I'm also a Space Marine fuckboy.
Thank you.
You like ribbons in your hair, and do you want to kiss
That's not
all
what a
the boys?
fuckboy is.
Okay, just checking.
Or I drink Monster Energy, wring my hands a lot, you know. But the meltas are dope because they went to 2 shots, and that is not just better for crushing tanks. That's better for crushing everything. Just doubling the firepower.
Melta's super great in this edition. I got rid of all my plasma scepters and other nonsense just to shove more Melta in there.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of infantry has gone to 2 wounds. So it's really nice to know that your Meltas are good at killing those real easy too.
It's been doing great against any kind of matchup. The Imperial Fist doctrine really helps me against stuff like Death Guard because I negate their -1 damage the first turn of the game and then any other consecutive turn.
Because what is it, like strength 7 and above targeting vehicles is +1 damage or something like that?
Yeah.
Which I love because then you don't always have to be in Melta range. You still that you still have that in the back pocket.
Yeah, and they have a +1 to wound vehicle stratagem, so I could come in with a bike squad, a dev squad, and anything that's T7 and below. I'm wounding you on 2s,
which also helps in the Death Guard matchup because they're tough to save vehicles.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do against Dark Eldar. I played a test game against them yesterday. Ended up losing 75 to 99. Killed all his vehicles turn 1 with the Alpha Strike, and he still ended up tabling me. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. The terrain here is very dense. Lots of line of sight blocking terrain, lots of buildings with first floor ruins that are complete line of sight blocking. So we're going to see how my shooting army does into this kind of dense terrain.
So, but most of your shooting is locked into 2 drop pods and 9 attack bikes?
The attack bikes, and then I have assault centurions, 5 of them. They have 10 flamers and 10 hurricane bolters, so that's 10d6 flamers and 60 bolter shots.
So they serve a different role. So they're not too worried about the terrain because they have a different role in your army. But it seems like the things that have like the really powerful, like your billion melta shots, at least can get around terrain pretty fast.
Yeah, speed 14, and the captain is just there giving them OPSEC too. So not only are they killing everything off the board with Melta, the captain is there making them OPSEC troops, which is big in this edition.
Rights of War, whatever it's called.
Rights of War, yeah.
Basically the only one I take. I love that. I love that warlord trait. No, it sounds. I mean, to me, it has the meat and potatoes. That's why I think it's silly that people like. It almost doesn't matter what faction you're playing. Is if you have the right units. Yeah,
like right now. We're a fan of spreadsheets.
Or it doesn't matter
right?
which chapter. It doesn't matter which chapter.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah. We're all a fan of spreadsheets, right? And Greg was doing us all the service of making a spreadsheet of what everybody here is playing. So going over to him, like, Greg, what is the highest representation factions here?
Vanilla Space Marines are actually the highest represented faction with that.
Vanilla Space Marines is Ultramarines? Is that what that, I mean?
I'm anything in Codex Adeptus Astartes. We have 35% of the people here.
Like non-supplement based Space Marines.
Non-supplement based Space Marines, yeah. I'm surprised it's not Dark Eldar or the the supplemented Space Marines like Blood Angels or Space Wolves.
Blood Angels are coming up in popularity right now. They're like, for a while the Blood Angel community was salty, because they lost some like vicious wombo combos that they were really relying on. And so it took them a while to warm back up to it because it's such a different army now. Like it doesn't, so that happens to Blood Angels. It's funny because that happens to Blood Angels a lot. Blood Angels, people get really precious on Blood Angel rules of the past all the time. Like 3rd edition Blood Angels were very tactical and flexible. They used many of the same units that other Space Marines used. And they had this really cool, like, +1 initiative, +1 strength when they charged, and a couple of cool rules to generate free Death Company guys, right? But at the end of the day, they weren't this like, I have all these Assault Marines and I run around the table. They were just like every other Marine. But they played this really cool, how I can charge with like regular tactical Marines and do damage and fall back. And it was really, or sweeping advances and stuff. It was really cool. But then we got the next edition of Blood Angels where like Assault Marines were troop choices. And everyone had a billion Assault Marines. And fucking
like,
Sanguinary Priest showed up suddenly. We had these like, so suddenly like everyone who knows that Blood Angels, Wyatt, it's like when the Blood Angels changed from that, they were like, oh, you ruined Blood Angels. That's not how I was like, bro, Blood Angels is whatever.
I still hear people to this day lament the fact they don't have like a Furioso Dreadnought with a technically infinite number of attacks.
And that's like, you know, it's like every time they get a new, because I don't know, for some reason they love to really sweep the way Blood Angels play. They change it so much, they swing it so much. And so like,
I think it's just because Games Workshop isn't super good at balancing fight phase stuff. Like historically, it's either been like really bad or really good or like nothing at all. There's never been like a well balanced, non feels bad Z good close combat unit. They're always just like they give the fuck down or they don't do anything in close combat.
Yeah, I mean they've had their problems, but but then this last one, right? This one that like became a part of the list, right? The Blood Angels with the Knights, that was an epidemic in 8th edition for a while. Like suddenly that is precious now. That way of playing, right? Where we have these like guys you can 3d6 charge and like not get overwatched, and we have dudes that can move all the way across the table, do whatever the fuck they want. Oh, we can bring back infinite fucking command points. Like this, they're like, this is Blood Angels. Like, bro, it's always different. It's now we have like a Space Marine Codex that has got every fucking unit ever in it, in different data sheets, right? And then we get these chapters that have this cool special way of interacting with the rule that everyone else has, the doctrines, right? And then maybe like another special rule and a couple of fucking stratagems in a book that is now laden with a different way of playing stratagems. They're not like what they used to be. I'm like, they're all pretty fucking similar parallel. We have good statistics across the board. Good. We hit on good fucking numbers. We have reasonable amounts of wounds, good speed, same access. And then how are you going to tweak your fuckboy faction into being a little bit more optimized like Greg has done here? He's got the Centaurians in there. I love that. Devastator squads. I love that. Everyone loves attack bikes. Case in point. That's an example of how it doesn't matter what fucking chapter you play. Not attack bikes is good. So I don't think Imperial Fists are bad. Like, I think that the way Greg is playing them, I think is like showcases that like you just got to play them a different way in a new edition that has different statistics.
Yeah. He started off running the same thing that you and I are basically running, with some like very, very small variations, right? Like your Blood Angels is slightly different than the way that I'm running my Dark Angels, right? And so he was trying that, and then he came up with this new way to make it like more.
And Greg, is that the drop pods? Is that what the drop pods are for?
Yeah. When I was running the same list type that you and Wyatt are running with the Outrider detachment. The detachment. Yeah. It just wasn't working for me in the way that it can work for Wyatt with the Jinx saves and the going faster and the Raven Wing keyword. So I had to scrap that, but I kept a lot of elements from it because I realized that the ability to null deploy and the ability to have all these fast moving Melta units that are also OPSEC is incredibly strong for Space Marines. And it's a fantastic list, and I kept about 75% of it when I made this new list.
I do like the drop. I think that Devastators or Multi-Meltas in the drop pod is good in every army. Like when I heard that you were doing that, I was like, I would accept that because I look at the points a lot. I look at efficiencies. I look at the hidden stuff, and I concede that a drop pod with 4 Multi-Meltas and a Devastator squad, point-wise, really does fit the overall efficiency of the detachment. And so I was
drop pod strats are super good. It's weird that like, remember when they came out with the new drop pod stuff, and we were so fucking hype on it. And we were like,
oh, our
that's the
disc
6
was
drop
hard.
pod. And they were like, no. And then like it kind of went out, like nobody really
did
uses
it.
them, and like nobody did it. And then like even now, it's really rare to see somebody using drop pods in Space Marine armies. Like maybe 1 in 25 guys playing Space Marines will use drop pods, right? But the reason that I talked Greg into taking the drop pod devs is not only does that kind of replace his weakness with the land speeders, but drop pod strats are just super fucking good at getting secondary points in 9th edition.
Mm-hmm. It's what are they back up like 170? Like I kitted out, Greg, the way your drop pods are with the squad included, you know?
Yeah, they're around 170.
So 170. So like I look at the points, like, so we all can agree that like the attack bike is like the golden bar, the 3 attack bikes from multi-meltas. So I look at that number and then I extrapolate what things do based on that number. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why the 2 land speeders in a squadron multi-meltas, not 3, but 2. 2 makes sense, right? And so when I look at the drop pod at those points, very similar points, 10 wounds, great amount of wounds in that squad. They have a way to use resources to, count as having been stationary when they deploy. They can do all sorts of things like, with a cherub hitting on a better, more DPS, more shots, 8 shots, not 6. And the fact that the drop pod can just show up, like, kind of huge. So that's the whole speed kills, board presence element. So they have kind of the most skewed board, like, so land speed moves 18 inches and flies, right? This thing doesn't. It never really gets to do much after the beginning, but the fact that it goes anywhere instantly and there's no chance of the enemy fucking stopping you from doing that practically, that is so skewed in that direction. Even though it has a lack of mobility after that, I give it the same amount of effectiveness, in my mind. And then it's there. And it's redundant because it's a drop pod and dudes, right? So if they're both near an objective, that's pretty fucking cool, man, because now you have the wounds of the drop pod included in that total of wounds they have to get through to clear you. So I think that after we see how good people do with drop pods with multi-melted devastators in it this weekend, especially keeping an eye on your win record, I would advocate that to anybody out there who's struggling in a fucking Space Marine world, trying to figure out like what works, and they they have this huge collection, and like some of the things they were playing last edition aren't working. I'm like, yo, I love that unit that you're using, and you're using 2 of them. That's fucking dirty, man.
Yeah, I had 3. Took it down to 2. I think Zenmu in the chat says, are there any Imperial Fist choice strats that are your favorite and that you use often?
+1 to wound.
All the time. Yeah, the +1 to wound. I'll put it on everything. A lot of the people hate Centurions now because they're not core, and they just immediately write them off because they don't have that core keyword. But there's a surprising amount of things that still work with Centurions in my list. My favorite stratagem for Imperial Fists that I use very often with everything is called the Shield Unwavering. And it's a 2 CP strat that you use at the end of your turn, at the end of the morale phase. And 1 Imperial Fist unit that's within 3 inches of an objective gets +1 armor and +1 attack. And so you put a big dick unit on an objective at the end of the turn, you give them +1 armor, +1 attack, and they sit there, and good luck with Centurions with a 1-up armor save, trying them off that objective.
Good luck. I love that. But correct me if I'm wrong. Imperial Fists have an 8th edition supplement still, right?
They do, yes.
So that's the only thing that I would be worried about. That was my pride and joy right now. Is that the way GW has finally started valuing +1 to wound stratagems and stuff like that, and how conditional stratagems have become. It's going to change for sure, and the condition is going to change.
Absolutely.
So that's just something else. Anyone in chat who's or listening at home who's like playing Space Marines, and you're in a situation like Greg too, where you have figured out something really good right now, like it will change. So embrace that change when it comes. They'll change the conditions. You can play to the condition, or you can just completely shift the way you're playing entirely. So what do you think you're gonna have trouble with? So like you said, Drakari fucked you because you fucked their vehicles up, but then they all touched you and killed you.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Is there just not enough close combat repelling in your army, or there's just nothing you could have included that could stop that from those touches from occurring?
That was yesterday when I was running my 3 drop pod list. Today I added in Assault Centurions to bridge that gap where I have some flamers that can overwatch and some really good melee units. I don't think I'll have as big as a problem. There's some wild lists here. I ran into a guy in the hall that's running 240 Imperial Guard conscripts and 2 commissars.
Yeah, I saw that
don't know what
too.
I'm going to do against that. Yeah.
It's just wild.
So infantry hordes are pretty hard, especially Necron infantry hordes where their whole entire army is OPSEC. I have a hard time against that, but I think I'm gonna dominate when it comes to all vehicle armies or armies with marine equivalent units in them.
I think that's
I don't know. We just talked about your list, right? You've got 50 something multi-melta shots. Then you've got 60 bolt shots and 10 D6 flamer shots and all the bolters on the attack bikes. I think you table that conscript army in like 2 turns, dude.
And it depends if they have some weird jank way of like touching my units and tying them up in combat, and just taking down my efficiency. Or if they get turn 1 and I can't null deploy. He's just being ridiculous. I don't think I'm going to have an issue against that army other than like clearing bodies, but yeah.
So I totally agree though with your Centaurian pick. I think that a lot of times people pivot, too quick after a loss. Like, maybe I need to throw this in there and this didn't work. But with Dark Eldar being a thing, I think what it did was expose a element of your list that was too skewed. And I think you've covered that gap with those Centaurians.
Yeah. And we'll just have to see how I do tomorrow. 256 people here, top 25 right now is about my goal. So we'll see if it was a good choice or not against everyone that's not playing Dark Eldar. And going back to the spreadsheet I made, only like 12 people out of the 256 people here are playing Dark Eldar. So the chances of running into them are fairly small once I get really high up there on the ranking.
Well, and they also have to play really well and get high up there because we got to remember, like, Dark Eldar are strong right now, but it's not so much the fact that the codex itself is like preposterously overpowered, because it's not. Like, we already did a thorough breakdown of it when it came out. It's mostly that, like, most people that are veteran Eldari players they have a harder time playing 40k. So it's a higher skill ceiling army. So when we see really, really good players win with Dark Eldar, it's not the same thing as seeing like Joe Blow come in who's barely played 9th edition, but they happen to have a bunch of Dark Eldar stuff. So it's like those people are here and they could do well, but they're not going to be like crushing this GT.
Not because of the army. I think, yeah, like, for example, like, Dark Eldar are no strangers to being good. They've been good a lot of times in a lot of editions. So, therefore, a lot of people have collected them over the last few editions. So, anybody who's queued up, ready to go with a sick Dark Eldar army right now, probably already had most of that collected and a lot of experience playing it. And so you're seeing a lot of wins from a lot of players right now. Some new to Dark Eldar, but many not. So, you said there's only 12 in the whole tournament? We'll see how many.
There was 46 people that didn't upload their list when it was time to at midnight last night. So a good majority of them could be Dark Eldar, but I don't expect it to be more than 20.
I feel like your new adjustment, they're not going to be ready for it. I feel like now you're going to go and blow up all their tanks, and then they can't do anything about your Centaurians.
That's the plan.
I mean, like venom cannons and shit. Like, what are they going to do against your 1+ save fucking dudes chilling on objectives? Like, they can't get near you. Like, +1 attack with that stratagem, and once it's CP to Overwatch with those flamers. Get good, scrub. Oh, I got 30 of these Skyboard guys. Word. You've got like 6 left. I don't think you'll be all right. But, so, boots on the floor. Dallas Open. Space Marine's most represented faction.
Vanilla.
Like Codex, unsupplemented. What do you guys think is going to be the top 8? Do you think it's going to be the usual suspects, or do you think it's going to be something totally different this time?
I have a feeling it's going to be somewhat of the usual suspects. I mean, like, this is a Texas event. There's a lot of talent here in Texas, but we're also seeing, like, I think 15 to 20 like high-level national players that have traveled to this event. And they're kind of playing some of what they're really used to playing and winning with, like winning events with. So if I were to, like, if we were like saying like Vegas odds, honestly, I think Sean Naden's going to win this event. I would bet money on that.
He's played the same list he played last time?
Oh, no. It's a whole new version of wackiness. So
Sounds right.
I'm sure he's going to do well.
Oh, that's right. New Drakari rules came out since then. So, yeah. So you think it's going to be like some Eldar Soup craziness, some Death Guard up in there, and a bunch of Space Marines?
Yeah, we might. I mean, like, White Scars are really strong. And there's going to be some of those guys. I don't know exactly how many people are playing Dark Angels. Seems like a lot of the hype for Dark Angels has fallen off. But Dark Angels as a Space Marine faction aren't super highly represented most of the time anyways. So I definitely think we'll see like a mixture of like couple of Eldari, maybe some like pure Drukhari lists, might see some Chaos, Death Guard, and probably going to see some Imperium. So I think it's going to end up being like the big 3, and then maybe like a dark horse in there somewhere.
That sounds accurate. You can buy that. I fully expect to see at least one Death Guard in the top 8, one White Scar in the top 8. No doubt. That's been kind of like textbook. Maybe an Orc list too.
Oh, how many people are playing Orcs, Greg?
4. Yeah, and
Okay.
one of them is Clifton Russell.
Oh yeah, so Clifton, he plays really high at clutch, and he's bringing similar list to what he played at clutch. And as we well know, 18 mech guns or smasher guns.
Smashing guns. Yeah, it's a tough list. 5 Orcs. Someone in the chat said. Someone must have uploaded.
Yeah, he might place top 10. Clifton's one of the better players in this region, so I would not be surprised if he ended up top 10.
So I know the link's been floating around in chat for the streams that are going to be going on. What is it?
Twitch.tv/EIBIT gaming. That's where you'll find the stream.
EI Bit Gaming?
EIEIO.
Yep. So definitely they will be streaming. You're definitely going to want to check this shit out. This is the biggest event since COVID hit in 2020. So
The week after the last biggest event. It's happening.
Yeah. I mean, it just keeps getting bigger. We're gonna keep being able to say this for a while. This is the biggest event since.
Yeah.
You know, so the new current biggest event right now. Everyone's gonna start playing in the morning, rolling dice. Wyatt's gonna be hopefully throwing up Facebook posts, taking pictures.
Yeah, I'll be like posting stuff out, keeping things appraised. Like, we've already run into a bunch of people who are, you know, our podcast homies, fans of the cast, and so we'll be doing all that stuff like selfies and shout outs and all that.
Do me a
stuff.
favor, both of you guys. Not only take some pictures when you're playing, but take a picture of your scorecard at the end of each round, so we can see, like, you know, where dry erase, where it shows you like what secondaries you picked and how you did on them.
Can do.
That's
Make sure
good.
your
That's good for your
hands
logs.
are on the table too when you do it, so we know where your hands are as well.
Yeah, both hands on the table and also
Yeah.
take a picture.
Right. Just blink, click, like in the books.
Because I find that very interesting when I'm following along with, because all you have to do is put up a post is like, yo, I'll play Drukhari round 1, picture of that. And then your follow up, post is just a picture of the scorecard. Like now we can kind of see how that tells so much story.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of that at Clutch, and it was really good for bookkeeping, just so that I remember what happened when we do the follow up the next week.
No doubt. Well, we should let these guys get to bed. And Rob can't stay up much later. He's almost past his bedtime.
You don't know that.
You went to the bar earlier, so I'm pretty sure you're done.
You don't know that either.
You told me you did.
All right, I did.
Caught the bandit.
Well, Haspil's
All right,
not
fine.
here.
Well, I guess this is my other job on the show. So make sure you head on over to thelongwar.net, the home of the battle ports. Or used to be, I guess.
Used to be. Fuck.
Yeah. But we still got the exclusive content.
The
early access
quickly and
videos.
rapidly becoming unnecessary platform known as longwar.net.
Yeah, we'll spruce it up soon. It'll be dope.